Epstein the FBI has and won't do anything about it. Musk and the doxing and the assassination plots and the media going nuts. We'll talk about MILF Island. Have you heard about this new show with a special twist? Oh, my God. Also, Kate Winslet, who clearly has magnificent lung power, set a record that Tom Cruise held for movie weirdness underwater. We'll talk about it in a minute. Anyway, all that stuff coming up. Plus, one of the worst days of my life. I cried all night about it, and I'm going to tell you all about it today because of something at the stable that brings back a whole thing, and it's just, I'm such a freaking idiot. Also, Pete will be telling us about a Lucas story of some kind, as some new old words coming out, and apparently an old show of ours is coming back to haunt us. So I don't know exactly what that's all about. But first, a couple of quick thank yous, and then we'll do. I've got kind of a surprise, because I want to make up for me being the worst person in the history of the world. And I'm going to go to hell when I die because of a stupid typing mistake of my idiocy.
I was thinking it was more like the...
Because of who I am?
No,
What?
the possum.
Oh, no, there you go. Oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. I'm going to hell for that. I know I am.
I know. We've all done stupid things like that.
I can't even, oh, God, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'm thinking about the possum.
And we've all done things that are so horrendous that we didn't know at the time it was horrendous, and we'll never, ever get over it. You're right.
It haunts me. Oh.
But once a year, I bring that up.
Yeah, right before time for Christmas.
So this Christmas Eve, you're sitting by yourself looking at the old tree.
Yeah, you could have called me on Christmas Eve. Hey, remember that time?
How you feeling? Pretty good. Well, let me tell you a story.
Let's think about old times, shall we? God.
Jog your memory.
All right. Anyway, that's coming up. Why I'm going to hell when I die, and my apologies will never be enough. I'll get to that shortly. Okay, first of all, some very nice notes. Our friend Tim sent us another donation to Kimmer Media Post Office Box, which is Kimmer Media Post Office Box 1432, 1432, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. And again, the check should be made out to Kimmer Media, not to me, but because then I have to do a thing with the thing. But anyway, also they do. They will deliver other people's names in the post office box, but still, it should be Kimmer Media on the envelope, if you will. I appreciate it.
What is the address again?
1432 Alpharetta, Post Office Box 1432, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. Tim with a very nice note here and a donation saying thank you, thank you, thank you. And the thank you is all ours. Also, check this out. We got a beautiful card. I got some very nice cards from Cindy with a Y, our special Cindy with a Y and an IE. By the way, I have a Cindy with a Y and an IE, a Cindy with an I and a Y, and a Cindy with two Ys.
Two Ys.
CYNDCY. Anyway, this is Cindy with a Y and an IE, who we know, and it says, Kimmer, I have a never used air fryer with your name on it, so don't buy one. I'd probably explode the kitchen.
It's a game changer.
I would overload a circuit or something.
We're probably going to be seeing her in February coming up pretty quick.
Anyway,
here,
thanks for all the laughs, Joe and Cindy. And so there's a Christmas card. So there's one more Christmas card. Also, another very nice Christmas card from our buddy Gary, who says to treat yourself and somebody wonderful. Very, very nice donation from Gary. And I sent him, I've already written out all the thank you notes. There's another Christmas card from there.
Did you remember the thumbtacks?
I'm sorry?
Did you remember the thumbtacks?
Oh, crap. No, I didn't
I'll bring them Monday.
Go home.
Or you could go get some. Well,
yeah, I could go get some.
It's called Amazon.
You could go get some.
If you order them on Amazon, they'll already be here.
Every drugstore has thumbtacks for 89 cents. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'll try to remember. James sent us a very nice Christmas card as well. In fact, look at this. You open it up, and it becomes the manger. I mean, is that cool or what?
The manger?
Well, the official manger, I think, with the little baby in a Bethlehem thing and the crib and the three wise men and camels and the whole deal. So we got a whole Christmas thing there.
Also, busy all night.
Yeah, there you are. And there was another one too, and I can't. I guess I must have left it home.
All I see is sheep. Oh,
yeah, I don't
turn
know.
it over.
Anyway,
sorry.
there was also a cash donation, and I Can't find it. I don't know why, but I'll figure it out. Anyway, now, a couple of quick updates, and I'll get to my horrible thing that I did that I will never get over and feel terrible about. First of all, the Kirk's soap. Our friend Denise sent me that Kirk that you had mentioned. I'd never heard of it. I tried it. This is so silly, but it's unbelievable. I can't. I've never seen soap like this. Let me explain how. First of all, it's just soap. I should have showed a picture of it. I got one.
It's white.
I'll do it. Yeah, it's a bar. It's white bar soap. For one thing, it's the greatest feeling soap in my hand. Now again, now you use a washcloth, right?
Yes.
And Flounder, you use a washcloth?
Yes.
In the shower? Okay, I don't. I take the soap in my hand and I go like this all over. And
I
that's
use
what
the
do with
liquid soap.
Okay, well, but again, if you do that, then you're holding on to the soap. The problem with most soaps is they're rounded and they're slippery.
Right.
This soap is square as hard, and it's hard as a rock. I was putting a thing and I dropped it, and it sounded like a gunshot in my shot. Have you noticed that? Bang! I mean, it feels like steel.
It's big.
It's as hard as, it's not that old, that Ivory Snow 199 floor, because that's mostly air in there. But it's hard as a rock, and it's square, so you can't lose a grip on it. I love it. I can't. And it has a delightful little aroma, kind of a sweet something. But it's just the way you hold it. It's just great. So thank you. It's called Kirk's Soap. And it's hard as a rock and square. And if you drop it, it's going to sound like a cannon went off in your shower.
Yet you managed to drop it anyway.
I did drop it. I was too excited and I dropped it, but it went bang. Anyway, there you go. So that was nice. Also, I put some video up yesterday. I drove down to Sonoya and to go to farmhouseprintingco.com so they wouldn't have to ship stuff, things like that. And it was good to see the group. And they have a puppy down there. Put the video on Facebook. The beautiful little puppy, golden retriever puppy, who's only 6 months old and already full grown. I mean, he's going to be huge. And met the staff, and so that's all already on Facebook. Just for the record, because of this traffic thing. Now, Flounder, do you use 285 at all in the morning?
Yes, but when I go, it's not. The only reason it's bad for me in the morning is when they're actually putting the cones out.
Yeah. All right, well, here's what I know yesterday. To get to Sonoya, I took... Oh, by the way, my Waze didn't work. I'm driving down there, and I put on the Waze to get their exact address, because I didn't know the little Georgia 85 route, whatever, and, I didn't know where to get off of the so-and-sos. Waze didn't work. So I actually I knew Sonoya was down 85, and it was somewhere between so-and-so and so-and-so. And so I called Eric on the phone and said, I need directions. So I actually, for the first time in years, I wrote down directions of how to get somewhere instead of using Waze. I mean, isn't that amazing how I so rely on technology? I had to call Eric to say, where do I get to Georgia 85 as opposed to so-and-so? Anyway, it was a weird thing. It was just technology. But here's the reason I brought it up. For the traffic pattern for 285, and again, if you're listening in Finland or Australia, Chrissy, stuff like that, this means nothing to you. But I did get to Sonoya yesterday morning. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. It took me almost 2 hours to get to Sonoya. It's probably 50 miles.
It's right outside of Auburn.
Yeah. No, not quite. Anyway, so I go down 400, which was horrible, but not horrible. Then I eventually have to go on to 285 west, all the way to 85 south. They didn't want me going down the connector.
You got to go around.
I went all around. I was driving west on 285, and it was fairly heavy, but it wasn't unbearable. It was just a lot of traffic. To the inside perimeter, the traffic from 400, for every inch of the travel I went from 400 down all the way across 285 westbound down to 85 was a parking lot. They were almost not moving for 10 miles? A truck's car. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And I thought, oh my God, how does anybody ever get to where they're going on 285 eastbound? Isn't that where they blocked off the roads? Oh my God.
It's always bad.
Honestly.
Always bad.
And so coming back, I said, screw this, and just when it came up the connector all the way to 85, 75. And that was, that's bad at a couple of places, but that 285 eastbound is a nightmare.
Yeah, I hate it.
Oh my, I said, oh, this can't be right. Anyway, just for the record, to let you know, just for planning purposes.
We have Lori here.
Yeah.
Says, hi.
Hi, Lori.
I couldn't get you up the other day.
Uh-oh, that's what she said.
So I missed the show.
Oh, no. Well, baby, Let me give you my home phone. You can be part of Asian Cheerleader Night. A special guest announcer on Asian Cheerleader
And
Night.
Scott pointed out what I was going to say. Every phone has Google Maps. Just use Google Maps. It's better in ways anyway.
Well, it's probably true, but again, something, the last time I did that, when I was going to Keith Callan's funeral, it sent me to the other street with the same name 80 miles away. And I got there in time to say goodnight to the family after it was all over.
You know what you needed?
Swear to God.
You
do
needed
Google
what,
freaking Maps.
You needed what I had. I had a navigator. His name was George 100,000
There
watts.
you are.
And he got us there amazingly.
Well, see, but again, I used Google Maps, and it was like this, Fernman Street, but there's also a Fernman Street East, and Google put me in the wrong one, and I literally missed the entire service. I got there as they were all saying, "Oh, so sorry for your loss," and I said goodbye to the widow and the kids and stuff.
You missed
and
a hell of a
I missed
show.
everything, thanks to Google Maps. So there you are. Anyway, and I don't know what happened, but just for the record. Okay, sorry, I'm being way too stupid on this. Let's see. Shall I do this now? I mailed all my Christmas presents. Are all out and mailed. I actually used UPS.
I haven't done one.
Post office is a nightmare too. I mean, there's no. When I go to the post office to check our post office box, there's no parking now. I mean, it's just you have to. I park across the street knowingly and just walk to the post office.
You mail packages through the United States Postal Service?
I have in the past, but not. If it's something that's not. Timely of concern. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. But I don't. Not for
UPS,
Christmas. Not for this stuff. I went to UPS or I'll go to FedEx or whatever. And the UPS, I mailed two little, very lightweight things, and were $14.
Do you have a AAA card?
No, I used to. I don't anymore.
Because they have a discount.
Yeah, almost everything has if you have a AAA discount, renting a car,
And I always
renting
forget.
a room.
And afterwards I go,
Yeah, it's
damn
crap.
it. When I got these glasses, as I'm walking out, I see the sign. I go, you have a AAA discount? She goes, yeah.
Yeah, crap. By the way, I just remembered. I'm going to put some video on Facebook later of the video we took of me bringing a new light bulb to Flounder's place. Not terribly exciting for the podcast.
It was
but I'm
mind blowing.
I had to sit down.
Well, I use 100-watt bulbs in my house, and I had a burn-out bulb, and I didn't have any. I went to the store, and I bought these Philips, and they're 100-watt bulbs, but there's some kind of special thing. They're called something special, and I put it in the place where the other one came out, and it's 50 times as bright. It's like the sun in your eyes. I mean, I put in two of them, and they were so bright, I had to take one out and put an old one in. I mean, literally, it was too bright. You couldn't see. So I did that. I gave one to Flounder here, and you can see the difference. Anyway, I'll put that on Facebook later. Now, so we're done with that. Now, okay, let me get to the story. Well, first of all, it involves Lucas. Lucas is at the vet. Flounder, how did it go? Now, how'd you get him in the carrier? Because that was an issue before that you couldn't get him in.
So it wasn't near as bad as last time, but it was still, we probably had a minute little battle. Yeah. But this time I had him by the neck.
Yeah.
And that really makes a huge difference. I mean,
and that does not hurt a cat, by the way.
It doesn't hurt a cat, but
cats,
when you try and grab him anywhere else, they'll try and bite or scratch you. When I was doing that, he didn't try and scratch me once, but he tried to get away. But with the soft bag, you can open it from the top and the side, and I was able to get him in, but it was zipping it up that became the challenge because one of his hands would come out or something like that, and his head, and then
we've all done it.
Yeah,
we've all taken pets to the vet.
So when he's better, what I'm going to start doing is keep that bag out and just kind of, since I can do it from the top, just kind of play with them and put it in there and see if that does anything. Have you seen?
I was going to get you this, and it was a little too late to order it. Have you seen on my phone? It pops up an ad for some kind of a soft cave. A cat cave.
And it's almost like a blanket.
It's it looks like a pumpkin.
It's like an igloo.
Yeah, it's an igloo with a little hole in it, and they jump in and disappear in the little igloo thing. And apparently they all love it, but I don't know if you've ever seen that kind of stuff.
There was a story in, I think, Germany where this guy just died. A kitten bit him 4 years ago, and he didn't think much of it, but his hand blew up, so he went to the doctor. The doctor said, it's nothing. And so he went home, and he had to come back, and they amputated the finger, and he got health problems from it, and 4 years of bad health before he finally died from a kitten biting him.
God.
And they say their teeth are so sharp, it makes a puncture wound that scabs over, but the bacteria is still in there.
Oh, boy.
So you're supposed to really wash it, I guess.
Good to know.
Good to know.
Now, so Lucas has already been done. He's
done.
Fixed, and he'll be back later today.
The surgeon called me when I was on my way back from the gym, and she was like, "He did great," and he sees 4 of me right now, so we're going to keep him here for a little while. And come by like around 2:30.
Now, you have to wonder. I've never actually watched when you take the cat to the vet to be spayed. You know, it's different than a dog. A dog, you know, will come to you and you can pet him and then you can do your thing. With a cat, I can't imagine how they got him out of the carrier to get him on the table to get the shot to do the thing. You know what I mean? It must have been a nightmare.
That, or I think what they do is they wrap him in a blanket. So
yeah,
head
like a
is the
baby
only
getting
thing,
a tonsillitis thing. Yeah.
So that way they can't really.
They probably drop a treat in there that's laced, you know, and make him feel good about himself before they take it.
I remember when my kids got their ear tubes in, their ear tube, they wrap them in a bundle up so they're like this. And it's really, I mean, they wrap the baby up like a papoose, or what do they call them? A papoose, is that the name? Yeah. Anyway, okay, so Lucas is fine. He's going to be back later on today. Now, okay, I will get in now to, and again, we have newsy stuff, but again, it's Friday, and I got to get this off my mind because I know I'm going to hell now. Okay, here's what happened. In terms of the videos of the stable, boys, I know this is a horse thing, so just forgive me, but I have to get it over it. Okay. I go to the stable about 4 days a week. I don't go every day now. Again, you know, understand, I'm a trespasser. I don't have a horse there anymore. So they gave me a key to the place, so I show up and I take videos of horses and put them on the internet. Here's what, when I go 4 days a week, and when I get my videos, I take a lot of videos usually, and then when I get home, I look at them and number them, stuff like that. So I do three things. First videos, I send 1 or 2 videos to my starter wife and my kids. Okay. The second feed I do on Facebook is my own Kim Peterson personal Facebook page, and I put 3 or 4 videos on that every day, whether I've gone to the stable or not, because I have some that I've saved and put on. So I do my ex-wife and the kids. Second feed I do Facebook of my personal thing, and the third Facebook feed I do is the Kimmer Show podcast Facebook page, and I put down things on there too. Okay. Excuse me. Yesterday, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I get this thing as soon as I come in here. Yesterday, I went down to the pasture where they have the boys, the Clydesdales, and the mare named Ilsa. And those of you who follow these things know what I'm talking about. Ilsa is a very high-strung, hot mare, and so she is likely to fight the boys over treats and so forth. And they've come to an agreement. Everything's fine. They get along. They stand together. And then when I show up, there's a little kind of a set-to where they decide who wants to get the treats first. It's a normal horse behavior, not a big deal. Okay, so yesterday I went to the stable. The boys, the Clydesdales, were at the gate, at the fence. Ilsa was way in the back. And as I'm feeding the boys their treats, I'm doing commentary. So I hear the boys the treats. Oh, Ilsa's way in the back, so I guess she's not. Maybe she'll come over this way. Maybe she's not. And I took some more video. And at the end, I said, well, I guess she's not going to come over here to do it. And so I did that video. That I did a bunch of other videos and some other videos. Okay, when I got home, I looked at the videos, and I had the one with the boys and Ilsa who passed on the treats. She passed up getting the treats today. On my the video I fed to my ex-wife and the kids, I sent the video and say, well, Ilsa didn't passed up on the treats today. When I sent the Kimmer Show, my Kim Peterson personal Facebook page, I said, looks like Ilsa passed up on the treats today. And on the by the time I got to the third feed, which was the Kimmer Show podcast Facebook page, I wrote down, Ilsa passed today, and a da-da-da. And people thought that she died.
Well, yeah.
Well, okay, now hold on a minute. It's bad enough as it is.
I would have.
Okay, first of all, it was the third one I posted, so I just unconsciously, subconsciously shortened just to put it on there and get it done. Okay, secondly, I never use the phrase somebody passed. I say they passed away. If it is an animal, I say they crossed the rainbow bridge. I never say they passed. I never say anybody passes. They passed away. So I never use it. So the phrase is not familiar to me. So if someone said, you know, I wouldn't have assumed that they meant they died. But here's the worst part of it. Here's the horrible part of it. The part that I will never get over, and I was crying all night long. Guess who owns Ilsa? A woman named Samantha. A woman named Samantha, the same one, also owned Claire, the mare who died suddenly only a few weeks ago at the stable. And so Samantha, who goes to the Kimmer Show podcast Facebook page, sees the video of the 2 boys at the gate and Ilsa way in the back, and the line says, Ilsa passed today. Looks like Ilsa passed. No, I said Ilsa passed today.
You're going to hell.
And it meant she passed up on the treats, because I actually said in there, Ilsa's passing up on the treats today, but the headline said Ilsa passed today. And so people are saying, "Oh my God, what? You know, I know you're not that cruel. You would just say she passed today, but just so she passed." And she said, "Oh my God, I'm heartbroken." All over the world, people are saying, "Oh my God, this is horrible." And the whole part of it is Samantha, the mother who just lost Claire a few weeks ago, saw the thing and said, "Oh my God, why didn't they call me at the stable?" And I'm going, "Oh Jesus, it's a poor woman, and she's beautiful and sweet and just as nice as she could be." And the poor thing went, lost her. Oh, Claire, oh God. And so then she said, "Oh, I finally figured it out. You were talking about her passing up on the treat." So she understood, it was okay, and she kind of forgave me, or at least she said so. I know I'll never forgive me. But everybody and all the reaction on it. But here, even one more thing. First of all, and I'll try to end it this way. What makes it even worse, not only that, I lost Jack the Good Boy. You cross the Rainbow Bridge at the end of February on a Saturday morning. And so every Saturday morning I wake up in tears. I just do. So it's still fresh. And horse owners, we're different than other pet owners. I don't know why it's true. But anyway, and here, the other thing that really got me about this was, speaking of Samantha and her beautiful mare, Claire, who passed away suddenly at the stable. I was there at the stable that day right after Claire died. And I was the guy who held her head to lift her, to get her onto the flatbed to do the thing. So I, this is right after losing Jack the Good Boy, and I'm the one who's holding Claire's head as they try to take her to the final. Oh God! And then I was a wreck after that, just being part of this before Samantha. Oh God, I felt so bad. But everybody knows now that she's fine, and it was just a thing. But I can't forgive myself for that poor Samantha, the poor and sweet girl. Must have thought, "Oh my God, my other horse died, and they never even called." Oh.
Kimmer killing horses before their time. Brought to you by Atlanta Custom Closets. ClosetPro.net. 404-255-0589. Atlanta Custom Closets can build your woman a closet big enough to put a horse in,
and she'll love it. They organize it. They make it so that you have stuff that's stacked or thrown or whatever. They say, "Oh no, that's not going to work." And they take care of it, whatever you need to get that perfect. They love this stuff.
Yeah, perfect.
Now, a couple quick things. I'm not quite done with this. We're done with that, but we're not done with pet thing. Okay. Now, speaking of that, there was a thing in Dear Abby today, which I thought was fairly amusing, and I thought I'd pass this along too. Dear Abby, my sister doesn't want children. I support her. I'm happy. She knows, da-da-da-da. She does, however, refer to what she has, her fur babies. Mm-hmm. We all have, we're pet people. She has a wonderful, generous heart, very charitable. My children have been blessed by their aunt's generosity. My issue is lately she's made a few comments about how I don't bring holiday gifts for her dogs. It's stuff like, "Well, my fur babies don't get gifts from their aunt. Am I missing something? Should I feel guilty for not adding her pets to my gift list because she considers them equal value to human children? No. I can't think of her dogs like I do my nieces and nephews. Am I wrong?" Abby says, "You may not consider your sister's dogs as equal to human beings, but she does." Yes, you're wrong. I mean, this is important
She's
to her.
not
Send
wrong.
her a little thing. Well, just be
but
considerate
you should bring
and
some
courteous.
treats.
Just go to the pet store and buy her a toy. Or a
treat. It's no big deal.
I mean, and she put a little bow on it or something. She'll love it. I mean, this is, of course, you do fur babies. I remember, if she deliberately doesn't want children, and these are her family, give her a break. How hard is that? You know what I mean?
It just dawned on me.
Yeah.
You know who passes?
Who?
Fran Tarkenton. Except he doesn't pass on your wine.
No, here we go again. Did we get an over-under on when I'm going to bring up Fran Tarkenton's wine?
It's got to be next year.
Now, because of that, I have something special. And this is going to be hard to do on Facebook, but are we live on YouTube and Facebook?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
We're only 20 short of 1,000.
Oh, my God.
I was about to say that, yeah. So, again, go to thekimmershow.net, and at the top, you'll see a YouTube link. Go to the Kimmer's YouTube link page and hit subscribe, and then we're good to go.
It's free.
It's free. You don't pay for anything.
Just hit YouTube, subscribe, and that's it. And that'll help us try to keep the show on the air because then we may actually make some money over it. Now, okay, I've got to organize this. All right, boys, I have a surprise.
Oh, boy. He's
first of all,
out of his chair.
I like double surprises. I made white chocolate chip
macadamia
nut cookies.
Oh, yeah.
This one kind of broke.
Oh, God. I'm eating one right now. I love these things. Man, oh, man. You know, you guys aren't on the mic, but okay. Let's keep talking.
Those little specials.
And I'm going to eat one right now. He's still on the mic. He's way over there. He's got a book.
No, I'm going to show something on that.
I'm reading a good book right now, by the way.
Now, okay, as you know, we do not.
This mic.
Oh, my God.
Test.
What's the matter?
He's
Trying
to hold a
testing.
microphone.
So if you want to use a microphone.
Yeah, walk around with a microphone if you're going to do this
Oh, okay.
while I'm eating.
Good idea. Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Now, as you know, we don't really exchange Christmas gifts. We're not, this way. It's not. We don't have like office parties and Secret Santas and shit like that. So, however, because of my guilt and horror at what I've done to the poor one, can you hear me all right?
I can beat this up, so don't worry about it.
Okay. Because of my terrible activity hurting Samantha so badly over the business with the horse, I'm trying to make up for it by showing not only reading the Dear Abby thing about how we take care of our pets and so forth, but I also, and since we don't exchange Christmas gifts, I have a little something for the pets in your lives. Flounder, this is from, you got to show this on TV. This is from the Spirit of Jack the Good Boy for Lucas the Podcat from Farmhouse Printing. It's upside down. Look at it's a it's for him. It's a Lucas blanket, and show him the picture is unbelievable. Look what they did. It's a blanket that says Lucas the Podcat with pictures of him in my jacket. All those times that he was snuggled up in my jacket. Is that cool or what?
Super cool. Thank you.
I mean, it's a huge blanket, but still, I mean, if you want to throw it on there when he comes or whatever.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, so that's cool. And now, Pete, your pet is your Porsche.
Ja.
Well, you can keep pronouncing it if
Porsche.
you want. So this is for your pet.
Oh, what's this?
Well, I don't know. There's a little something in there.
It's a bag. It's a bag from Hennessy
Porsche bag.
Porsche.
An actual Porsche bag.
By the way, Jim Ellis just passed away.
Oh, sorry.
Jim Ellis.
I did
all
see
those
that. Yeah,
car shops.
he'd been around 50, 60 years.
And
or
they
70
literally
years or
closed the dealerships for a day to go to the funeral.
Well,
It's
good
pretty
for them.
cool.
Good for them. I think
All
that,
right,
that was
what do
good.
we got here?
Well,
It's
you'll
a
have to see.
box
It's
that says Porsche
a giant
on it.
box with a bag. Here you go.
All right, let's see what else is in here. All right, opening it up as we speak. All kinds of papers. Oh, it's a tumbler.
It's a special car tumbler Porsche
It's a very
drinker.
special tumbler for me.
And I wanted the red one, but they didn't have it. I went by the other day, and
Ooh,
they
I love
said
green.
they wouldn't open the thing for me. So I came back today, and the red one was gone. And all I had was
Hunter
this green one.
Well, I love green's my favorite
Well,
color.
We'll go with your car color too. It's
Oh,
fine.
my
So anyway,
God.
so those are your pets for you
that's a
two
nice
boys
one.
for your pets. So I'm trying to
Thank
get
you.
into heaven by thinking of somebody else with gifts and pets.
Do not microwave. Do not microwave. Okay.
Oh, is that what it says? Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's important. They tell you. Anyway, that's a Porsche thing.
Thank you.
And clearly, it's made out of diamonds and titanium and
Also damn much.
well, it's Porsche. Also, Pete. Speaking of Pete, remember the other day we were talking. We had the birthday of the woman. Oh, who the hell was it? Oh, the woman in E.T. Remember that? The mom in E.T.
D. Wallace.
Yeah, and it was her birthday, and I think you said, wasn't she also the woman in Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Well, I double-checked and looked up a couple things. Here's the deal. The woman in Close Encounters of the Third Time was Melinda Dillon, who's the mom in Christmas Story.
True. That's true.
And I think that's why you were probably, you knew her from somewhere before. It was Christmas Story you were thinking of, and I had forgotten that too, but in fact, Christmas Story was on the other night, and I watched a little bit of it, and I remembered, oh my God, that's who Pete was talking about. She was in Christmas Story. She was also in Close Encounter. She was on the mountain with Richard Drivers or whatever, and she was also in Slapshot, with the Hanson brothers, remember that? Paul Newman in Slapshot, and she was also in Absence of Malice with Paul Newman, and what's her name, little girl there, everybody, Betsy Field or Sally Field. Anyway, so that her name was Melinda Dillon, and she was the Christmas Story mom and Slapshot and Absence of Malice.
You want the bag back?
No, it's for you. And by the they need to get organized over there at this dealership I went to. They couldn't take my car. And he said, "Well, it doesn't work." I said, "Well, let's use something over here then, if you don't mind." So, oh, okay, try that now. I mean, it's unbelievable. Couldn't find it. Oh, it's just totally whatever. Oh, so that's fine. That's fine. It's Christmas. It's Christmas season. Well, I had to show him how to pay my bill, for God's sake. Anyway, whatever. Has anybody noticed the internet being this morning? This is like 2-3 days in a row now for some reason. When I try to post something, it says internet failed. Try again later. Whatever. A lot. And this morning, when it was like 5:45 in the morning, and I texted Flounder to see if he had any of his lists that he normally sends me in the morning, and he said I already sent them. And so I didn't get him, and then I got like an hour later I got one, and then a little while later after that I got 2 others that he had sent me hours ago. So I don't know what the hell's going on, but there's been a
happens to me every once in a while. I mean,
yeah. Anyway, and I had trouble posting yesterday too. It was the same freaking thing, for the record. Anyway, that's all I know about that. Let's see. I'll save this here for later. Oh God, I'm exhausted. We haven't even started. When's your Holy Crap at Sports later?
Already did it.
Oh my God, man! Well, you want to tell us what your highlight maybe, or a tease of something?
Somebody said, some writer says that Dansby's down to 2 teams now, the Cubs and the Braves. So the Braves are still in it.
Yeah.
And then an ESPN guy by the name of Todd McShay, who I'm really not a big fan of.
Yeah.
Basically came out and besmirched the character of a Georgia player. And at the time I said something about it today. And I read the quote.
Oh, is that the guy who said he's got character issues?
Yeah, he says character issues. He went on and on about it. A very long tirade about his character issues.
Which is pretty nasty unless you know. Yeah.
You're messing with the young man's ability to make money.
You label him that
his
way?
Lifetime. You label him. This is what pisses me off. These piece of shit ESPN guys will run their mouth like that.
Yeah.
No sources, which, okay, fine. You don't want to give your sources away. That's fine. I want an example. And if I'm the other guy that he's talking to on ESPN, I go, no, hold on, Todd. Give me examples of this. Don't just put a blanket, he's got bad character. He may have bad character.
Like what?
But the teammates all came out and said, whoa, now wait a minute here. I'm telling you, that borderlines to me on slander.
Absolutely. It's worse than that.
To harm him.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, you cannot do this. I'm tired of this. You cannot come out in the media. In the past, we could have maybe believed him. You can't believe any of them now. They're all liars now. Yeah. And for him to come out and besmirch this young man's character that will cost him money probably.
Well, that's the thing.
I'd go after him with lawyers.
With a name and likeness business did you hear the story about the kid who wanted to come to Georgia, or wanted to go to Alabama, and he said, I demand $4 million in NIL stuff, and he said no. He said, well, then I'll go to Georgia and get $2 million. I mean, this is now a thing.
What's going to be worse? Because guess what?
Of course, it's going to get worse.
If you thought NIL and transfer portal was bad, guess what? The National Labor Relations Board in Southern California has decided that the football players and the men's and women's basketball players should be considered employees of not only Southern Cal, but the entire Pac-12 and the NCAA.
Well, let's just unionize everything, why don't we?
Yes, the union's coming.
Yeah, that's right.
And,
they're bringing it upon themselves.
They're going to destroy college football is what they're going to do. Enjoy it while it's here because the good times are in the past.
And by the way, if I were a star quarterback, you don't think I'd be concerned about whether I could make $2 million by playing quarterback at one place as opposed to maybe no money or $100,000 somewhere else?
There is one benefit from this.
It's the exact wrong reason to pick a school to go play for, isn't it? Although not anymore. I guess it's minor league business.
There's a positive impact that some people threw out at first. And everyone goes, no, that's not going to happen. But it is happening. Some players who are kind of borderline or even better than borderline are not going into the draft, which they probably lose their shirt on, not get picked. They're staying another year in college, and that's good for college football.
Yeah, well, I was reading about one guy who was thanking everybody because his brother died, and so he's not playing in the bowl game, but he said, I sure want to thank everybody for my 6 years here at the university.
6 years.
I mean,
6 years of college
if you can get away with 6 years of college down the drain, or you're making a couple of $1 million a year at it, that's not, I mean, you just took care of your living.
Brett McMurphy of CBS Sports had a good point. He goes, all these players opting out and everything, who's going to be the first college team to say, we can't field a team, so we're going to have to not go to the bowl game? Yeah. Which to me would be ridiculous because you always have new guys to put in there. And I said on my show today, these bowl games are no longer showcases and rewards for what's happened. This is a way to look at what your team's looking at next year.
Yeah,
because you're going to be playing players who have never played before.
I'm and I'm trying to. I don't know why I'm no longer excited about bowl games. Maybe there are
We
too
got
many
two
of
today.
them.
In fact, there's one going on right now. I'm recording.
See, and who's playing Tulsa State and
Yeah, it's
Northwestern
Miami of
Dakota?
Ohio and UAB and Troy and somebody
Yeah,
else.
we'll see.
But Miami of Ohio actually has Mike Leach pirate decals on their helmets. Which
Oh,
is
that's
really
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
Really
And what,
nice.
again, what a shame. I still can't believe it.
Of all of them to die, it had to be the interesting
Yeah,
one.
the fun guy. Well, that's
And meanwhile, Bobby Petrino's back.
oh, I saw that too.
It's like, no, he's still around, but Mike Leach is gone.
Was it his first season
Yeah,
at Falcons
quit.
and he quit and went?
He left laminated photocopies of his quit notice in every locker, and then by the time they all woke up, he was in Fayetteville, Arkansas,
Unbelievable.
holding a press conference.
Now, was he the one with a girlfriend on the motorcycle?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of room in the desert for that now.
Wow.
Side piece in the sidecar.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? He probably wakes up in a cold sweat. You wake up at night thinking, imagine
God.
Bobby Petrino thinking, I was a head coach with
Yeah.
a winning team in the SEC, and because I couldn't keep it in my pants.
Well,
And
he
you
was
know
just
he's showing
reckless.
out. He's on the motorcycle. He's showing out for her.
Yeah, absolutely. Tough guy. Yeah.
Talk about blowing. Oh, my God.
What have I done? Oh, Lordy.
He actually went into, there's a quote, he went in to talk to the AD and the president of the school. He says, I'm not going to get fired over this.
Yeah, well, may have to reset that attitude.
Listen,
there,
you
sir.
hired the girl.
Oh, my
you
God,
put her
yeah.
under your staff.
Yeah,
You paid her with
hired
school
to
money.
Pay her, your
and you were
girlfriend,
stalking her.
basically, to have sex with you.
No, we can't see anything from
Hell,
that.
I'm a president of my company. I can do that. We
What,
can
you
hire
gonna
somebody
sleep with
to
Flounder?
come in here and make out with us on Fridays or something.
hire
Get a
somebody
couple
coming-
little dancers in here to
Just to stand
yeah,
here.
just something there. Walk around in
Walk
high
by
heels
with
or
the
something,
cards.
a little skirt, sure.
Who wants to sign up for that? Ladies, you can apply.
Yeah.
Send
So a little skirt, strappy sandals, and spaghetti strap blouse or something.
Pete Davis
Just-
one at yahoo.com for photos.
Just walk around the room.
Or sit on the couch.
Or sit
on the
anywhere you-
couch and look
just-
lovely.
Exactly. Just dangle that little
Ed
shoe.
McMahon
yeah.
it over there on the couch and laugh every
I
now
like
and
it.
then.
I like it. Or, for that matter,
Fluff
if
girl?
clearly, I know this sounds chauvinistic and sexist. You'd have to be attractive in order for people to want to look at the video, the thing. So if you're a good-looking young woman, or
middle-aged
if
or
you're a good-looking woman, could be there's no age thing. If you're a good-looking woman and you don't mind looking attractive for others, if you have a business that you would like to advertise, you could put a little sign under your magnificent boobages and sit there on the couch, and we'll get video of you, and you could free advertise your company just walking around our room.
You may have gone a bridge
2
too
for
far
1.
on this
We get to see a pretty girl, and she gets
she
to
just walk by the
promote her
camera every
business.
now and then with the
That's
sign.
what I'm saying. It's like a wrestling thing. Round 4, whatever. She walks around in a little high
Flounder,
heels.
how do you like your place being made a cat house?
No, there'd be nothing going on. We're just looking at her. We're not going to. Nobody's.
Start. Yeah.
I mean, she's not going to have to do anything but walk around.
Says who?
Let us look at her. Well, it's
You're
an
distracted.
idea.
You're distracted by a cat.
I'm throwing
you
it
can't
out.
have a woman in here.
All right. Anyway, well, it was a good idea when I thought of it in the shower. Anyway,
I don't want to hear about you thinking about in the shower. Dropping soap and
that's
everything.
a whole
That's
nother issue.
enough of that.
By the way, I thought of this as funny. Remember the other day I'm talking about the soap, and then one of the I'm trying to give myself little pleasures because my life is such a
Please stop.
I know. Well, so I see, now I'm getting fresh soap when I have a little bar. Instead of I
Yeah,
just treat myself to a bigger bar of soap when the little one gets little. Today I realized when I get this all these silliness. I realized today the pleasure I get from walking into the hot shower. I put the when I brush my teeth, I turn the shower on so I get the water right where I like it, finish brushing my teeth, and walk into the shower, and that first blast of the hot water that goes right down your head and your neck and your back and stuff, just and it's like a hug. It's like, oh man, does that feel good. Do you? I mean, I get chills, and I remember I wrote down a note saying, "Remember to mention this is one of the little thrills I remember that I get if I set the temperature and walk in there, and it's just like, it's like a giant hug and like a warm massage. It's really great."
When I was younger and much poorer,
Yes.
very poor, I couldn't afford a gas bill. So from March to December one year, which is a lot of the winter,
Yeah.
I was
Wow.
about heat or hot water.
Oh, no.
And basically, actually, hot water worked. So I would have no, it didn't. I didn't have hot water. I would take a big pan of water, put it on the stove because it was electric, and I would heat it up, and I'd go in the bathroom, and I'd wash that. I did that for 9 months. And when I finally got another job and was making enough money, this was a long time ago, in California, I think, and I got it going again. I could pay a gas bill and get it going. Actually, it was here in Atlanta because it was cold. The first hot shower I took, I said this, I will never, ever take this for granted again.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, I think as I'm getting in the shower, I think, I will never take for granted not having this.
Yeah. It was just, I remarked on it, and I said, I'm going to write this down. It was such, it feels so, it was just a little, just a little teeny thing of my day that starts off a...
And most people in the world either don't have it every day, or it's so weak and it's not hot.
Well, as a baby boomer, I remember the days when hot water heaters lasted for 2 minutes. I mean, when we had a 3-story house, I'm a family of 7, so we had an old 100-year-old colonial house with 3-story, 7-bedroom home. So, but if we knew the rule, if somebody was in the shower, nobody else could take a shower, and the first person better hurry, or there wouldn't be any hot water left for the second and third and fourth person. Yeah. I mean, it was an issue because that's what they had. That was available. I mean, that's back when refrigerators had a tube of ice in them. So anyway, so I don't take that for granted anymore. And I thought, boy, I'm going to share this. It was such a thrill, just a little teeny.
Don't
thrill.
ever take it for granted.
No. Okay, as I mentioned, a baby boomer, and something happened that came out yesterday, which I want to remark about, the JFK assassination files. Okay, I'm done accepting the reason they say they can't release all the documents is that, well, it would expose the methods that the average, the secret agents use to find out bullshit. Anything they did 60 years ago has no meaning for what they're doing today. So it isn't that they don't want us to find out how they did it. It's that they don't want us to find out that they did it. Not how they did it. They don't want us to know that they did it.
Or didn't in this case.
Or didn't stop him when they knew. Okay, a couple of things. 4,000. They did release a whole crapload of files, but they're still keeping secret 4,000 documents, even though Congress twice now has passed a law saying they must be unsealed.
How can they do this?
They're doing executive order. Biden just did it again. Again, literally, it was supposed to come out yesterday, and so the FBI released all the files they were supposed to release, but Biden, once again, classified the 4,000 documents that no president has wanted released since 1963. Now, here's the other thing. The files, a guy was on Tucker last night. He said, here are the files. Take a look at this. Page after page after page, blank. So the files they released are still redacted. So we're not getting anything.
Liars.
We're not getting information. It's all a bunch of crap. A couple of things that we do know, and by the way, this was amazing. I don't know if you saw Tucker last night. He has a source who has seen all the files. Not just not just a PR guy. He has seen. He knows somebody who has read and seen every word of every file, including the 4,000 secret ones. And Tucker said, "Well, let me just ask you point blank." He said, given the fact that the CIA has been supposedly involved somehow in the assassination thing, Russia was involved, apparently Cuba, the mob. There's so many links here. And Tucker said, can you tell me, from all you know that you've read every word of every file, can you tell me whether the CIA is involved in the JFK assassination? And he said, absolutely. Absolutely. No question about it. Why? Still kind of a mystery that they were afraid JFK was going to reveal things about the CIA.
He
or
was going
link to the Russians in Cuba, or
no. JFK got us in Vietnam, and JFK was going to pull our troops out of Vietnam.
Well,
no, there's too much money to be made.
Again, I mean, we
so
should
he was
know,
killed
we'll
over
know.
a war.
If they would release those documents, we'll know exactly what was going on. Here's a couple things. Lee Harvey Oswald, and again, in the 50s and 60s, what's the matter? We all right?
Monarch butterflies going by. You don't see that every time as much as you used to.
I just saw another one.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them.
Focus.
Lee Harvey Oswald, back in the late 50s and early 60s, Russia was the great Satan or the evil black continent or whatever. I forgot what Reagan.
Evil empire.
Evil empire. Okay. Nobody just lollygagged waltzing into Russia to visit and be a tourist. But Russia was closed. Okay. Somehow every secret agent and every official military and defense intelligence person who was interviewed said there's no way that suddenly Lee Harvey Oswald just slipped into Russia. Nobody just slipped into Russia.
He was a communist.
But he was slipped into Russia, supposedly, so that they could train him and give him the impetus and the training and the contacts to get to Cuba, get to the mob or whatever, to assassinate JFK.
Yeah.
That the Russians allowed him in, and when nobody was getting in. Why'd they allow Lee Harvey Oswald? Well, because he's the guy who eventually killed the president. Gee, maybe there's a connection there.
It's a communist.
Yeah. But again, there are a lot of communists who weren't allowed just to show up in Russia. I mean, it was a reason they let him in. Anyway, and
wasn't that in JFK? Oliver Stone's JFK?
I'm sorry. What now?
The movie.
The movie.
Oh yeah,
That's what happened. So if that's the case, and this guy confirmed that, has it been known this whole time?
Yeah, it's in the doc. I think it's all in the documents. I think there's evidence without question
super
about
random.
it.
JFK was on this past weekend.
And again, after 60 years, the only reason they don't want us to know about everything and they keep classifying it, even though the law says they're not supposed to, is that they're embarrassed, is that they got caught, something bad happened. It's the same thing with the 9/11 documents. Why are they helping Saudi Arabia? But is it just money? I can't. Again, here's why I'm mentioning this. Here's the other thing. Remember the so-called FBI sharpshooter tried to duplicate the shots that Lee Harvey Oswald took with that rusty old rifle that nobody could even maneuver out of the 6th floor depository floor, whatever it was, into the 2 shots into the car, and the sharpshooter couldn't do it. The best marksman in the FBI could not duplicate what Lee Harvey Oswald did.
Well, where did the shots come from then? Because both of them were from behind. It looks like.
I'm just telling you, the FBI guy couldn't do it.
Where'd it come from?
The grassy knoll.
The grassy knoll wasn't behind it.
I know. I'm telling you, the FBI guy could not duplicate the shots.
Well, that surprised me as FBI.
Well, anyway.
Oswald was a Marine.
I know. Well, but still... I mean, it was when you try. I mean, anyway.
I've heard people say that you can make the shot from there.
But I mean,
I've heard both sides of that.
It takes 3 seconds to cock and shoot.
But with that rifle and then the car moving and everything else, I mean, it was a miracle that he hit him in the
lucky.
head.
Yeah,
miracle.
Twice, right?
Yeah, 2 shots. Yeah, and one went through John Connolly's leg or hip or whatever.
The magic bullet.
The magic bullet bounced a few times. Yeah. And by the way, again, as a baby boomer, I was. This was 1963. I was in prep school, but I was home because school had closed for a couple of days because of the Kennedy assassination. And so, and in our house back then, my mother had my father buy her a little tiny black and white TV console. They were little cheap things because the TVs were all black and white back then anyway, mostly. Anyway, so she had this little tiny black and white console in the front room so that when she was doing something, if she wanted to watch what was on TV, she could sit there, didn't have to go into the kitchen or whatever. So anyway, so I'm in the front room playing with Heidi, the German Shepherd, who was Rin Tin Tin's great-granddaughter, by the way. Anyway, the TV star Rin Tin Tin. Anyway, so I'm playing with the dog and watching TV, and all of a sudden, I'm watching the coverage of Lee Harvey Oswald being led down in the basement of the ship. And then here's Jack Ruby comes in, and bam, and Lee Harvey's go, like this. And I'm thinking, oh my God, Mom, he just shot him on TV. Mom, I can't believe it. I watched the guy get murdered on television live. I saw it. Yeah. I was watching it on TV. I said, oh my God.
See, that to me is the bigger cover-up as well. Who the hell was Jack Ruby to do that?
All right, now let's. I think his name was Rubenstein, and they call him Jack Ruby. Okay, here's something else that came out with some of the documents with a guy that Tucker knows of. I'm not sure this is in the documents, but here's what Tucker revealed last night either from his source or the new papers. When Jack Ruby murdered Oswald, shot him, and was in jail, a psychiatrist went to visit Ruby in jail and came out later and said, he's insane. This was just him going nuts. It was a lone gunman thing. The man's insane. He's clearly insane. So all the officials said, all right, he's insane. A psychiatrist says he's insane. So that's the end of that investigation. Guess what? That psychiatrist's name is Lewis West. Lewis West, the psychiatrist in 1963, was employed by the CIA. Now, of all the psychiatrists in America who were allowed into the Jack Ruby jail cell to examine him or talk with him or maybe plant a way for him to not make it out alive or whatever, whether he died before they tried him or something or other, whatever happened in there, and then the CIA psychiatrist comes out and says, well, he's insane, no, nothing to work. There's no conspiracy. I mean, nobody wanted him to do it, like to hide the evidence for the CIA. There's nothing, we're not trying to hide anything here, not our link with the CIA for Jack Ruby. Well, there's no connection. No, he's insane. Doesn't mean anything. I mean, my God, stuff like that.
I know.
I mean, so that was 60 years ago.
It's already Eisenhower
and they're
warned
all dead.
Eisenhower warned us: military-industrial complex. You got to watch out for.
Well, here, and it's even worse than that. And again, this sounds like a conspiracy theory, but all of a sudden I believe it. And Tucker made the point last night. How many times have we read in books and seen in movies the theory that there is a secret group of high-ranking people in Washington who really run everything behind the scenes? Yeah. I mean, how many movies? The books and the movies. My God, a secret group of highly ranked people in government
Illuminati.
And business, and they kind of run. They make, and that's what's
Freemasons.
going on.
Freemasons.
I mean, it sounds like somebody's running stuff. I mean, who's determining that all of a sudden these are still going to be secret and that they send a psychiatrist? I mean, it's out of our control. And I don't believe any of it. I believe all of it and don't believe anybody. God.
I sometimes think when I can't sleep, something that I put my mind on to work, which puts me to sleep pretty quick, is I think if I have every power of every superhero that's ever been that I can think of, what would I do with that power? The first thing I would do is make the nukes go away. Nobody has any more nukes or chemical or biological weapons. And then I take all these sons of bitches around the world, from Putin to Xi Jinping to the nut job in North Korea to the zombie in the White House, and they all be on their own little private island somewhere. And they can play with each other. Pelosi, all of them. And everybody who steps out of line and is shown to be corrupt goes to that island.
The Pete Davis Island of Shame, ladies and gentlemen.
And I say, if you're hungry, say food. If you're thirsty, say water. If you're sick,
nookie or
if you're
something.
sick, say doctor. But that's all you get. That's all you get.
A woman.
None of that. Yeah, you can sleep with Nancy.
Yeah, Pelosi.
She's all yours.
Ponderous Marzulagalawangas.
Or I'll put them in two islands of about 100 yards apart, and then I'll say, yeah, you can go visit each other.
Have a ball.
There's a few sharks in between there.
Oh my!
And I'm thinking I would do that. I would expose all of this.
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
I hope it gets exposed. And again, I was going to make a point in a second. I'll make it right now. Last night, also, the word came out. I saw in the news that the GOP, when they get in control in Congress next year, the GOP apparently has fairly strong evidence that the China COVID kill virus was, in fact, developed in a lab and got out accidentally. That it wasn't a deliberate thing, but it was a weapons lab. It was to boost the potential of the virus, to use test it to see if it could be a weapon. And it was a weapons lab thing, and they're going to be able to get the evidence to prove it. And I thought to myself, this is another one of these big talking, McCarthy comes on, we're going to subpoena this. So, nothing's going to happen. Nope. Even if the House passes a law or passes an investigation or has hearings and under subpoena and oath takers and so on and so forth, when it gets to the Senate, it's not going to pass into law. Nothing's going to happen because of Georgia. Once again, the do-gooders allowing 6 years of Raphael Wifeknocker. They don't forgive him for roughing up his wife and being a deadbeat dad and a slumlord and a man who believes in late-life abortion. That's okay, but they wouldn't vote for Herschel Walker for what might have happened 15 or 20 years ago. And so now we're screwed for another 6 years. So it's not, no matter what the Republican congressmen say, nothing's going to happen in the Senate.
Mark says the show is hurtling down the rabbit hole and the emergency brake has broken off.
Thank you. All right, one more, and then we'll be done with this whole segment.
But it's funny. We don't do this enough because it's things like this
is important stuff
that people listen to. They love this stuff.
Again, I mean, this stuff you're not going to get. The Al Jazeera Constitution's not covering anything on this. And in fact, we're going to talk about doxing Musk and what he did and how the Democrats are now slamming Republicans for what the Democrats did for 6 years every day. We'll talk. And by the way, the Trump thing with his announcement, I mean, he's made that seems embarrassing to me.
Made $5 million in a day for his campaign.
Yeah, anyway, I know I'm wrong about this. I
agree. I mean, again, anyway, Ron DeSantis is calling out Fauci for all the wrongdoings, and what does Trump do? Comes out with a fucking digital warrior card.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute. I really was flabbergasted. Coming up, we'll mention MILF Island. We'll talk about the little boy, 10-year-old boy, arrested as an adult for murder, and wants his bail reduced to the money he has in his piggy bank. This is a true story. I swear to God, I thought it was The Onion or Babylon Bee. It's a true story. Also, Kate Winslet has a lot of lung power still. And removing the bust of the Supreme Court justice because, well, he was a bad boy. 200
Is this some kind of bust?
Yes,
it's very impressive.
Well, let me help you with that. And one more quick thing, and then I want to brag about one of our sponsors here. One of the other things from the news in the past, Jeffrey Epstein case. Last night, a woman on the news was one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims. One of the young girls, 20 years ago, whatever, who was Jeffrey Epstein's victim. A young girl who was being sexually abused by older men, celebrities, and so forth, visiting his herpes island. She knew, as they all did, that Jeffrey Epstein was secretly videotaping or filming the actions of these celebrities. Mm-hmm. Okay? For blackmail or whatever,
Enjoy.
Yeah, or for the fun of it. Could be just he and his little girlfriend just maybe watch them for kicks.
Errol Flynn used to do that.
Yeah, right, just to enjoy them. Anyway, so there were videos. So she apparently got one of the videos, copied it, and put it on a thumb drive, made copies of the thumb drive, and sent them to various addresses in Europe in case anything happens to her. Uh-huh. Because of Epstein, killed himself, really? You think so? Or maybe... Anyway, and the point was, she said, the FBI also has these videos. And so Tucker's point last night was, again, Tucker Carlson, he said, no, let me get this straight. The FBI now, for years, has had videotape of celebrities raping, basically, having illegal sex with underage girls, and nothing's come of it? Gee, maybe those FBI agents who have the video are the same ones who went to work for Twitter to hide all the the shenanigans. It's what they do. But once again, the FBI. Yep. And you don't think there's some secret government working in here?
The Fascist Bureau of Intimidation.
Yeah, my God. I mean, how many links do we need?
I don't trust any of them. I just haven't for years. I'm sorry.
Oh, jeez. I mean, this is really disgusting. All right, hold everything. I want to brag about our buddies at flagco.com. And by the way, I think you can probably still get this for Christmas. It's really, but you're getting moving on this stuff. Or it's good for any time, really.
It's the last weekend of shop, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. Flagco.com. It's where I put my flag up every day and take it down in the dark, of course. But I keep it up. If it's raining or snowing or sleeting, I keep it out because it's only in the dark. You're not supposed to fly it. And if you do have it in the dark, put a light on it and you're fine. Anyway, I have my American flag. Still looks brand new. Beautiful, high texture quality, bright colors, red, white, and blue. I have the silver kit on it and the white flagpole. They have lighting kits and beacons and silver and gold and flag ornaments. Every state flag, every country flag, every military flag, banners for open houses or stuff, all that kind of stuff. They take care of all of it. And the quality's great. They have mounting systems where you can put it on brick walls, which nobody else does, to my knowledge. Flagco.com. Now, a couple things right now, if you can order these in time for Christmas, but get a move on. The Starry Night Flagpole Christmas Lights. If you have a 15 to 25-foot flagpole, you're all set. If not, they can build one for you, a different size pole. They have cool white lights, warm white, red, blue, multicolor sets. There's a mini version with everything, including their own 10-foot pole. The second special right now is a trailer hitch flagpole kit that comes with a single or double flag connection. And the third item that's special right now is a 20-foot telescopic pole with wheelbase, which is perfect for tailgating. It slides under the tire to weigh it down. When the game's over, it collapses into a nice little package for the following week. Everything's set to go. Boom, bang, boom. And they're looking for workers. If you want to work at a warehouse and make some money, flagco.com is looking for warehouse workers. They've got it all there for you, too. Here's a phone number, flagco.com, 800-962-0956, and on the web, flagco.com. Okay, dokie. Now, let's see. Did you have a story for Lucas, or did you already do it and I didn't know?
Yeah, I got a story for Lucas. You want to hear it?
Yeah, let's do that now.
All right. First, that's a great blanket, by the way. You did a good job on that.
Isn't that a nice blanket? That's farmhouseprintingco.com. Yeah, and he took the pictures, by the way, are beautiful, clear, bright pictures on cloth, which is,
I know,
it's a great job.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
This is for Lucas, and it's a shame he's not here to hear this, so you have to tell this to him later.
Okay, record it later.
The Onion has a story just for the cats.
No kidding.
Dateline, Columbus, Georgia. Drawing a blank just seconds after landing on the trunk of the Douglas fir, local domestic short-hair butterscotch confirmed Thursday that clinging to the side of the Christmas tree was the extent of his plan. Okay, so I've jumped halfway up the trunk of the tree and dug my nails into the bark, but now what? Said the cat, who pondered whether pissing on the trunk or screeching at the top of his lungs would be the best next step forward. Step 1, climb the tree. Check. Step 2, seemed like a good idea at the time.
I didn't think that through.
And I'm not saying it was a bad idea. I'm just saying I'm still not sure what's next. At press time, the cat had reportedly settled on biting and scratching anybody who attempted to remove him from the tree.
Cats and Christmas. I still get a kick out of the videos of Lucas getting in my coat. I mean, just getting into bags and stuff. Cats are great. And then people can be saying, Kimmer, you got to get a couple of Maine Coon cats or something.
Those are huge.
Yeah, they're like
they're
this.
Huge.
They look like small dogs. They look like mountain lions. I mean, they're literally,
they're bigger than bobcats.
Yeah. They're huge. They're enormous.
And you can't grab them by the tail if you're trying to catch them. Some bitches.
I find out that the hard way. Never do that again. Let's see. A couple of the biggest things in the news include Elon Musk is now getting attacked by Ocasio Bang-Bangio Stupidio, otherwise known as AOC, after he has suspended the accounts of CNN, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and journalists for doing what the liberals have been doing shamefully for 6 years or more, but at least for the last 6 years. Ocasio Bang-Bangio Stupidio is criticizing Elon Musk after he suspended the liberal journalist from his social platform. She calls it an abuse of power and encouraged him to lay off the proto-fascism after he temporarily barred the people at CNN, Times, and Washington Post and some others. He did it because they violated the policy not to share real-time location information when they posted, quote, assassination coordinates. She said, take a beat and lay off the photo-fascism. Try putting down your phone. They were releasing the coordinates of where his plane was with his children on it. So someone could, shoot it down or meet it or attack them. Or
a day after the crazy Antifa guy was following his son around.
Exactly. Who jumped on his car, as I understand it. This nutball jumped on the car with Musk's kids inside because they knew where it was. This is what they did. They dox your location.
Okay. They say, well, it's journalism. We tell all the time where people are. Okay, it's fine. Elon Musk is going to be in Colorado Springs today to speak to the Air Force Academy. By the way, they went nuts for him. They love him there.
I'm
okay,
sure they did.
That's journalism.
Yeah.
What's not journalism, what is doxing, his plane is this number and this type of plane. It's landing at this airport at this time. This is when it takes off. That's trying to get somebody killed.
Yeah. Here's his apartment location. Here's all his house locations. Here's his phone number. Here's his addresses. Here's when he's not there and when he is there.
Every one of those reporters wanted something harmful to happen to him.
That's what doxing is.
That's what they did it for.
Remember they did that to the detriment of conservatives back with the Antifa and Black Lives Matter and the George Floyd and the cop who gave money to the people, Cal Rittenhouse, and they doxed him and showed up at his door with TV crews. And so, I mean, this is just appalling. Musk defended it. He said the reason he suspended him, he said they posted my exact real-time location, basically assassination coordinates, in direct violation of Twitter terms of service. Accounts engaged in doxing receive a temporary 7-day suspension. It may be longer than that. But he said they're doxing real-time location and endangering my family, and that is not okay. He said, you can criticize me all day long. That's fine. He doesn't care about that. But these Democrats are saying, oh, well, he shouldn't have suspended him because he's a public figure. What's that? That's even worse. You're a public figure, an extremely controversial and powerful one. I get the feeling unsafe with descending into abuse of power and erratically banning journalists only increases the intensity around. Yeah, erratically banning. He didn't even do it radically, ladies and gentlemen. So, oh my God, I love the word games. It's just, oh my God. A New Yorker said, as someone who's been subject to real and dangerous plots, I do get it. It didn't have security and have experienced many scary incidents. Many of the right-wing outlets you now elevate published photos of my home and fence from AOC. Musk banned a CNN Donnie O'Sullivan correspondent, the technology reporter from the New York Times, a Washington Post reporter, and an Intercept journalist. Plus somebody at Mashable, MSNBC. Oh, Keith Olbermann got banned.
Well, he was the instigator. After the first guy got banned, he said he went on to say, "Okay, here's all the stuff. Here's what you should do verbatim. This is how you retweet it."
Right. So Musk did the correct thing, which is what they should have done when the Democrats were doxing people. They should have been banned also. But they weren't, because the FBI was now the officials in terms of censorship at Twitter, which we know now because they left
and
FBI to work for Twitter.
Isn't the New York Times whining about this? Although they had no problem with the whole New York Post disappearing, but 6 of theirs, you can't do that.
Yeah.
The bad thing is you got Republicans once again and so-called conservatives screaming about Elon Musk. Oh, this closes off the veneer of free speech. Yeah. We know what Elon's all about now. He's being a dictator. Blah blah blah. Coming from the right,
I don't get it. I don't understand.
They're rhinos, and they're just looking for an excuse to suck up to the mainstream media. So the Mitch McConnell thing of being liked, they'll never like you. And you know the thing about Elon, I think he's realized after what they did to his son a few days ago, and what they tried to do to him yesterday. I think he's realized that these people are batshit crazy. They're communists,
vicious.
Socialists at best, communists. They will do anything. They will never see the common sense. They will never be for free speech. They will never get on board with what he's doing here. So he's decided, guess what? You attack me, you poke the bear, the bear has claws.
Well, but he's doing the right thing. I mean, it's not like he's going after people to censor them from their views. He's protecting the views of people who don't deserve to get attacked.
But I saw three major conservative people, supposedly, one on the Blaze, another, basically calling him Hitler for doing this. It's insane.
It's exactly the opposite. He's preventing Hitler. You can't. Oh God, we're screwed.
We can't compromise with them. There's no living with them. They are the enemy.
They're the enemy. When Trump said, the media is the enemy, he meant the people of those kinds of people in the media doing that kind of thing. The people who used to be in charge of Twitter. Those were the enemy.
Who's the guy that said the other day? In fact, I think I sent it to you on this. Let me find it here just a second. Get the right guy in here. Get him his due. End wokeness. Here's a little secret. You are the carbon they want to reduce.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's
us.
I didn't see. I'd totally forgotten about this, and I guess it was probably because I was worried about the Christmas thing and going down to get the gifts and stuff like that. But I did not see the. Remember, Donald Trump had mentioned he has this big announcement coming out that you're all going to be a thing to, and everybody thought he was going to announce officially for president and so forth, and instead, he announced a collection of superhero playing cards.
He's going to be the new Superman, by the way, not Henry Cavill. It's going to be Trump.
Even the media. Donald Trump, one story, walked into a comic book universe of internet mockery on Thursday when he, in a carefully detailed announcement, he introduced his official Donald Trump digital trading card collection with a picture of himself in a superhero costume, cape, and Trump champion belt. Quote, just when you thought this grifter couldn't humiliate himself any more than he already has, there's this. This is what the big announcement was. He used his Truth social media platform after he was thrown off Twitter to trail a major announcement in what hindsight appeared to clue that the forthcoming announcement might not be in the traditionally ... The video featured Trump saying America needs a superhero over an animation of himself standing outside a Trump Tower, ripping open his suit to reveal a superhero costume and shooting lasers from his eyes.
Okay, you laugh.
I laugh.
But what happened? Flounder, what happened?
They sold out in 12 hours.
He sold them all. And here's what they said. Listen to this. People wondered if Trump was attempting to ape the dark Brandon internet meme. Social media saw Trump might have announcing a bid to be Speaker of the House for some reason. One girl said, this is somehow hilariously dumber than even I had expected. Major Trump embarrassment, more like, am I right? And somebody else had said, by the way, I can't find the exact reading now, but he says, how did Trump ever think that anyone would really care? Oh, here we go. The senior Washington editor for NBC wrote, Donald Trump's major announcement appears to be that he still thinks people will give him $99 when he asks for it. Well, they did. Guess what?
And that shows anyone over 40 thinks it's ridiculous. Anyone under 40 or 35 went and bought it.
I mean,
remember Nixon? Sock it to me.
Yeah.
They've all done stuff like this.
That's right. And again, I mean, and to me, I mean, I first of all, when I didn't see it. I didn't see the physical announcement. But it was just, I mean, I thought, oh my God, what's he doing? This is humiliating.
Did you see Shannon?
Burke?
No. Shannon just says, what the hell is this?
I mean, it's just...
It's a generational thing. We don't get it. The young ones do.
Well, all those movies that you guys like with Ryan Reynolds, with the superheroes, and Deadpool, and what's the other one with the Metal Man with Downey, Iron Man, and I haven't seen any of them.
Well, see,
they're the biggest. But because my age,
you didn't grow up in the '60s and '70s reading those comics.
Right. That's right.
And we all did.
That's right. And that's a beautiful delineation of the. You can tell the splits in the generations by social media and movies and TV shows and all kinds of stuff.
In fact, when you were old enough to read comics in the 50s, comics were out of style because of the Comic Book Commission came out saying they were subversive.
Yeah.
And they melted them down till it was teenage girl stuff.
Oh, we never had
Archie
comics in the 60s.
and stuff.
They were in the 50s. We never had comic books in 1965 or something.
The 60s took off with comic books.
All we had in the 60s was Mad Magazine or something, but it wasn't, like Superman
Crack
and stuff like
better.
that. Yeah. Anyway, just... bizarre. How about now? This story, I swear, is true, and I'm not making it up, and the whole thing is appalling. A Wisconsin boy is arrested and charged as an adult with murder. He had a court hearing. 10-year-old boy, whose name is not released because he's too young, but he's not too young to be charged with murdering his mother because she would not buy him a virtual reality headset. He went into court. He sat with his head down while the 10-year-old boy's attorney, again, he's charged with killing his mother. The boy's attorney asked the court to lower the boy's bail from $50,000 to $100,000 in the Milwaukee court. The attorney said the boy has no source of income, but he has about $100 in his piggy bank. We have spoken to him about his ability to post anything. He told us about piggy banks with savings he had from gifts and birthday presents and scavenging through cushions in the couch. He's been able to come up with about $100. The county circuit, so the lawyer asked the judge to reduce his bail to $100 so the kid could get out with his own money. The judge refused to lower the amount. By the way, $50,000 bail for murdering your mother? How about $1 million? I mean, anyway, the girl judge refused to lower it from $50,000 and did place travel restrictions on him in case he does come up with a bail. Also, that he be required to be released in the custody of a family member. The boy's been charged as an adult, and the lawyer argued it would be unheard of to require a defendant in adult court to stay in the custody of a family member on pretrial release if he's an adult.
How can they do that?
He's 10 years old. The girl argued it would be unheard of to require a defendant to stay in the custody. The judge agreed, required to be placed on a GPS monitoring system if he gets out of juvenile detention where he is right now. The 10-year-old, the family says he has significant psychological issues. Gee, really? I hadn't thought of that. As facing alternate counts of first-degree intentional homicide or first-degree reckless homicide. The attorneys got a court to drop reckless homicide, calling it redundant. The boy said his mother would not buy him an Oculus virtual reality headset from Amazon, so he shot her in the face and killed her. And then he went on her credit card account and bought the game for himself anyway. The judge ordered he not be placed in shackles or any kind of restraints. She forbade media outlets from publishing any personal information, including pictures or any information. He goes back to court in January.
You know what the sad part of this?
Jeez.
I've got one of those, not that brand, but I've got one of those
You
headsets.
have a virtual reality headset?
That I never use because it gives me headaches. I'm one of those people that can't do it. It gives me migraines. Yeah,
migraine headaches.
And he could have had mine. Oh, this could have been averted.
And what kind of a headset? What do you do?
I got an older one. And yeah, basically, I did it on, and I could walk around with cartoon dinosaurs. And I thought, well, this is kind of cool. And then my head just started.
I'll bet a lot. I'll bet that's common.
I tried it back in the 90s once when it first came out, and it gave me a headache then. So obviously, I'm one of those people that can't do it.
I'll bet.
Which sucks because it's supposed to be cool. So
well. It's coming, and again, there's going to be something where you take a headset and then they put you to sleep, and in 12 minutes you wake up thinking you've been on vacation for 2 weeks having sex with beautiful women.
No, that's Total Recall.
That's right. But that's coming. I mean, that's
well, they have the sex.
happen.
Was virtual reality.
They do it right now.
Amazon had that show, and I forget the name of it. It's set in about 10, 20 years in the future, where that's your heaven.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
live forever on the mainframe, and you put these things on, and you can visit the dead people, but they upload your brain waves before you die, and you're in your virtual reality heaven.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It's a funny show too. I forget the name of it. Upload it or something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
I saw that. And I haven't
the
seen
first
it.
year is really funny.
I haven't because I don't have that special
the box.
service.
You need that box.
I need a box. I got to get myself a box. Speaking of TV, have you heard about MILF Manor? I'm not making this up. And again, when it first started, when they had The Bachelor on TV. They had The Bachelor, then did The Bachelorette. I never watched that because I didn't want to see all the macho men fighting over to try to get the girl and all the guys. Oh, yeah, I'll do it. I hate looking at them being all macho and shit. But when The Bachelor was on, and they had all the 20 women, and they would show up in the limousines to meet them for the first time and stuff. And my daughters, Jennifer was in Pennsylvania at the time, Sarah was in Colorado, and I was here. And so when the show was on, we would all watch it together or tape it and then talk about it later because it was so funny. And we used to do an over and under on when the first girl would cry. Yeah. There was one girl always breaking into tears, and so we would do an over under and which girl would get eliminated first or who would get the role. It was just kind of fun, and we played along. And then it got stupid. Then it just became totally freaking.
Well, then it became stupid.
Yeah, no. At first it was amusing, and then after anyway, so we stopped doing that before too long. Well, now there's a new show. And it's called MILF Manor. Or maybe I'm calling it MILF Manor. Okay, here's the deal. It's a reality show, and it's on TLC, which used to mean the Learning Channel. It's called MILF Manor, a debut reality program where they have 8 good-looking mothers, MILF mothers I'd like to kiss, let's say. They could call them milk women. We have to change one of the words, but MILF is a middle-aged woman. Okay. So they have 8 hot women of middle age embarking on a chance to find love with men half their age until they're greeted with a shocking twist. Shocking.
Well, that too.
A shocking twist. I can't talk. I'll be so glad
Freudian
to get my
slip.
mouth fixed
Freudian
again.
slip.
I found out my hearing aids and my ear rockets be next week. So
excellent.
Fine. Now, there's a promotional trailer which has gone viral for MILF Manor. 4 million views in a few hours. It's a topic now because... remember on the old TV show 30 Rock, they did a fictional show called MILF Island where they had old ladies who were picking up young guys. The program is real. 8 confident, strong-minded women leave home for the chance to find love at a paradise destination starting next month. Many beg to be a contestant, but others express disgust because everybody had some kind of weird opinion. Here is why it's become something of a strange situation. Here's the shocking twist. 8 women trying to get hit on or hitting on young men.
Get the format.
The men include the sons of the other women.
Oh, boy. Oh, see, I thought they were going to bring their 8-year-old kid with them, but no, this is
their sons are trying to hit up a woman that she's in the thing.
Well, you know what that means? They have an Oedipus complex, and now the mother knows that.
Right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Reaction. If the twist is the men or the women's sons, there can only be so many women who want to date their men's age, where their son also wants to date women their mom's age, so both are happy to do the same thing on television. My God. Men dating younger women is controversial at times. Of course, TLC is owned by Warner Brothers, which has laid off hundreds of CNN employees and scrapped their Batgirl. Remember, they didn't even come out with Batgirl. They just scrapped $50 million or whatever.
Wait. So about the MILF thing.
Yeah. Mom, I'd like to kiss.
Imagine they're sitting, because they always have the girls sitting around discussing what went on the night before.
Yeah.
And one of them's talking about, this guy, he really liked me to take my thumb and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then they find out it's your son.
It's your son, yeah. Huh? Yeah.
Okay.
Here's one of my favorites, though, was this one. We end with this. The twist in MILF manner will be that the young studs are the sons of the other MILFs, but a bigger twist would be that they're the out-of-work creative executives behind all the better shows that Discovery canceled in order to make this dreck of a TV show.
Speaking of shows,
yes,
I recorded it, but I forgot to watch it last night. I recorded it. The big Christmas ghost special was last night.
Oh, I've got it on tape. I didn't see it.
It's an hour long, and who said?
Too.
Blaine says it was very good. Cindy says it was hilarious. Lori says it was good. Everybody
Christmas
says it was good.
Oh, good.
Christmas.
Well, let's watch them. Next week we'll talk about it since they've seen it, if you feel like it.
I'll be over at 8. We'll get some popcorn.
I can do that. Clean the place.
By the way, Kimmer and his favorite shows brought to you by FarmhousePrintingCo.com.
There's our blanket, and they're doing great. And
That's right.
By the way, I took pictures of other things that I can't post yet because they're people who watch the show are going to be getting the presents. So, but after Christmas, I'm going to show you the beautiful work they did from other things too.
And right now, Sonoya, Georgia, they got custom shirts, hats, signs, promotional items, no minimum order, no setup fees. Get 1, get 1,000. They'll do it all.
I showed video of their shop and showing all the things that are right there. And if they don't have it there, they'll get it for you like they did with me. So, I mean, they're just great folks.
And the laser engraving, which they probably didn't do on that because it would set it ablaze. But
I don't know. I watched them do it. They were a laser engraving. They have two machines. They have a laser engraving machine, and then they have a big time Charlie laser engraving. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Is that for cars?
I don't know. I think they can put cars in there and
cows?
boats and cars. You can engrave your freaking boat. That's tremendous.
Put your arm in there.
Arm. They can engrave your arm.
Why can't, okay. Instead of going to a crazy drunk weird guy on the back alley to do your tattoo
part. Yeah.
Well, they just have machines. You just stick like the etch.
Yeah.
You stick your hand in there and it etches it on there in a minute.
You would think it'd be great.
They have the laser thing that they literally put the car things on your hood of your cars.
Yeah.
That's done by a laser thing.
So you automate it in there and boom, boom.
So don't tell me they can't do that for an arm.
I won't tell you that.
No, I'm glad.
Oh, here's a reminder by getting my ear rocket next. Finally,
good
after
for
only
you.
2
Speak
weeks.
of the devil.
Yes. Anyway, well done. Now, also, I've got a couple of another little TV Hollywood thing here, and then you want to talk about the show that came back to haunt us. I don't know what that means, and you mentioned something about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now, check this out. This was and this is a silly story, but it's Friday and let her rip, and of course, every day is silly. Friday, let her rip. But Kate Winslet. When I hear the name Kate Winslet. I think of one thing, and that's the scene in Titanic when she took down her top and he painted her or drew her, sketched her.
Come in, Tokyo Rose.
She
Come in,
had
Tokyo Rose. Perfect.
Beautiful breasts. I mean, they were perfect.
Perfect.
And again, I'm not a breast guy. I could care less. I mean, I've never paid it. I enjoy them, but I'm not a breast guy.
I haven't
I'm
seen
a leg man.
breasts in a movie like that since Uma Thurman took her dress off in Dangerous Liaisons.
Yeah. But Kate Winslet, and she leaned, and they were just barking at the moon. And they were wonderful, beautiful, barking at the moon. Well, that's what they say. Free me, free me. Anyway, they were magnificent. Now, clearly, the woman has lung capacity just to support those babies. Anyway, but here's why I think this is unbelievable. Kate Winslet is doing, there's an update on the movie Avatar, apparently. They're doing another version of it. And I didn't see the original one because I read that it was about Marines who turned traitors or something. And give me a break.
It's usual. All military people are bad. All business people are bad, and the poor indigenous people are just pure as the driven slush.
I just had no.
It was beautiful to look at. It really was beautiful.
I saw glimpses of and it was well done technically. But
it was an 8-year-old writing the script.
Yeah. While filming Avatar: The Way of the Water, Kate Winslet in the movie set a record held by Tom Cruise. Kate Winslet.
Most men slept with them.
Kate Winslet in this movie, it's a deal. The Way of Water was underwater and held her breath underwater. How long can you hold your breath? Have you ever tried?
When we were kids, we did it all the time.
30 seconds?
Almost a minute.
40 seconds?
I think the best we got was almost.
But I'll bet you're going. Flounder, have you ever tried to hold your breath and time it? I think 30. I think I did it for 30 or 40 seconds. I don't think I ever made it to a minute.
I don't know. I remember one time on the show when we were on News Radio, I did remember I yelled goal for over a minute? Yeah. Remember how the soccer guy yells goal? Yeah. I did that for over a minute.
Well, okay, but that's using your lung capacity, air, and so forth. But again,
but I've never gone over 40
just
seconds.
For kicks, one time, just take a stopwatch and try to see how long you can hold your breath.
Yeah, we used to do it as a kid. We'd go under and look at each other while we were doing it.
As a swimmer, we used to do it all the time. How long can you hold your breath underwater? Okay, well, Kate Winslet in The Way of Water deprived herself holding her breath underwater for more than 7 minutes.
That's not smart.
She says, quote, I have the video of me surfacing saying, am I dead? Have I died? And then saying, what was my time? What was my time? I can't believe it. I can't believe it. She wanted to set a personal record. Quote, the next thing I say is, we need the radio set James. I want James Cameron, the director, to know right away. Kate Winslet added, she didn't have to hold her breath that long, but quote, I wanted to break my own record, which was already 6 minutes and 14 seconds. And I was like, come on. So I smashed my own record by a minute. And James Cameron, the director, said, well, she's not competitive at all. Tom Cruise had previously held the record of holding his breath underwater in a movie for a little over 6 minutes. Kate Winslet did it for 7.
That's like Greek pearl divers or something. How that? Japanese
it's like, the little kids in Cancun or something who go dive for trinkets for you.
That's how they get pearls.
For several pearl divers. Yeah.
7
minutes?
There's no way in hell I could do 7 minutes.
Oh
your brain starts.
I think the oxygen would deplete or something, and if there's no oxygen coming into your bloodstream, doesn't it start boiling or something?
She's got gills. She has gills. I'm sorry.
Or there's something in those Mazulagawangas.
She's Namor from Black Panther. She just breathes through her skin.
But the woman is special. A woman is freaking special.
She is special.
Anyway, one more quick kind of a newsy thing here, just for the record, and I'll get rid of this particular sheet there. Congress has now voted to eliminate another piece of history. Congress is going to remove the statue bust of the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, who authored the famous Dred Scott decision.
Yeah, that's not good.
It was Roger Taney authored the Dred Scott decision in 1857, ruling that black people could not become U.S. citizens.
He equated them with horses.
Yeah. And so the Congress said, no, that's not. So they got rid of that. He's going to be hidden in the counter.
Can't you see that?
Yeah.
I can see that.
That's understandable. But again, then we need to eliminate everything. I mean, let's not start there.
Over. Well, that's what they want.
Get rid of it all.
That's what they
including want. Shave Stone Mountain. And I mean, there was no racism. There was no racism. There was no slavery. Erase it all. If you're going to erase the racists, then erase the victims and the crime and the thing, and just like it never happened.
Well, you see where in California,
otherwise you're not being fair.
They're seriously considering giving $350,000.
Oh, yeah, right.
And this is a state that never had slavery.
Yeah. And I saw the video of the hearing. Guy after guy came up to the microphone and said, you're talking about reparations. You're going to offer us a measly $200,000 apiece? That's not even close to what we deserve. What we've gone through in America, that's not even close to what we deserve.
People who never owned slaves giving money to people who never were slaves.
Who never were slaves, yeah. And by the way, I believe the Irish were treated like crap and discriminated against.
Too.
They were discriminated against by not being able to vote and work and things. When in New York City, no Irish need apply, and the same thing with Jews. I mean, come on, over and over. How many other people? Gypsies, black people.
But black people were treated in a the two people that were worse than everybody. What we did with the Indians and what we did with blacks was much worse than what we did to the others.
I say we start with the Indians first. If we're going to give reparations to anybody, it ought to be the Sioux.
It started with them first,
And we start with the Native American Indians.
Well, they're getting us back by taking our money on the rest.
Well, but still, I'm serious about that. If you want to give reparations, I'll give reparations to the Indians.
We should give reparations for the oil fields we stole from them.
Yeah,
in Oklahoma.
Yeah, or the gold. It was all the gold in them hills. The Indians owned all of it. President Ulysses Grant went back on his pledge to give that land to the Indians. He gave that land all to the Indians. Said, "It's yours. You can have all." And then they found gold. Custer found gold. And President Graham said, "Oh crap! Well, we better take it after all," and kicked him off.
Well, the funniest lines in Dead was Ian McShane talking about that stupid son of a bitch Custer went and got himself scalped, and now we're gonna have to worry about the Indians again.
It was Custer, among the others, who discovered gold in them hills.
By the way,
Dakotas.
A great book, and I never cared about the Custer thing. It didn't interest me, but Nathaniel Philbrick wrote a book about it because, well, I got to read it. It's one of the most amazing history books. Once again, it's called The Last Stand. And it tells you, guess what? Half of them survived.
Yeah, people rode away. I thought it was like
the
one
wagon
or two.
train that was with them stopped, and Custer went ahead, stupidly went ahead without them.
Yeah.
And they survived, but they were trapped on top of a table mesa for like 3 days, being shot down on, and their only basic cover was their horses and their wagons. Wow. And they had to go down a ravine to get water, and the Indians were waiting for them in the ravine to go get the water for 3 days, and they could have massacred them, but the Indians just up and left. And the guy who was leading them was from Atlanta and came back here and lived out his days here in Atlanta. It doesn't take any of that.
I never heard that.
You got to read that book. It's called The Last Stand.
I never heard that.
In fact, what happened to the wagon train, to me, was much more impressive than what happened to Custer.
Why didn't the Indians just go kill them all on the wagon train? They didn't have anything to fight back with.
After 3 days, they said, screw it, we're out of here, because they thought more army people were coming. They weren't going to hang around.
Be damned. I never knew that.
Yeah.
And I did know that there were a couple of people who did ride away, either trying to get help or something, but did survive by riding off.
Shitload of them survived, but not with Custer, but it had stopped.
Well, I never heard shitload. I heard one or two that might have survived Custer's last stand. But again, history. Just one damn thing after another. Well, let's just erase it all. If you're going to erase all, just erase it all.
What Napoleon said? History are just lies agreed upon.
Yeah, your opinion of what you really think happened. Yeah. And speaking of history and stuff, the editions of the Kate and William documentary, they want to be left alone. They want to be kept in private, so they're doing a documentary for the world to see.
He yelled at me. Did you hear that?
Yeah. This
By the way, it's number 3 on Netflix.
Oh,
it's number 3.
It's got to be. By the way, Kate Middleton and Prince William are not watching the Netflix documentary on Prince Harry and his trampy wife. But they're having their aides watch it. Their staff has to watch it to keep them abreast of what's going on. The first half dropped on the streamer, but insiders are saying it'll take a long time before there's any harmony between the brothers. There's a lot of hate going on there, a lot of anger between the siblings. In a trailer, the chick from the Suits, that nasty chick who ruined a war hero, 41-year-old skank named Megan.
She's 41?
Yeah. Said she wasn't being thrown to the wolves, she was fed to the wolves.
She joined the wolves.
Yeah. The Duke of Sussex, who's 38, notes the palace was happy to lie to protect Prince William, who was 40 years old. They were never willing to tell the truth to protect me and Meghan. Meghan is biracial. She revealed in the first half of the show she wasn't treated like a black woman in Los Angeles, but she said now people are very aware of my race because they made it such an issue in the UK. She has destroyed the reputation forever. Again, Prince Harry was a war hero.
Yeah.
Prince Harry was a chopper fighter pilot gunner. He didn't have to go to war. In fact, they demanded he didn't go to war, or if he did, to stay the hell back so he would never get killed.
There's that video where he's sitting there doing an interview, and the alarm goes off, and he throws everything down, jumps up, and runs for his helicopter.
Yeah. He was a war hero. He was a warrior. And all of a sudden now, since he got his nuts clipped.
With the snapper.
Jesus.
She's 41?
She's 41 years
Good.
old.
Well, you could tell she knew that her days in Hollywood, she was a certain star, but she wasn't going to get any higher, so she snagged herself a prince.
I mean,
what a gold! How can no one see she's a gold digger?
The
only
hideous.
two shows bigger is that Wednesday show, which is a knockoff of the Addams Family, which is I'm going to watch after Christmas, and Bullet Train, which by the way is funny. Have you seen Bullet Train?
No, I've heard it's funny.
It's funny.
Is that Netflix?
The Brad Pitt, amazing. It went to Netflix. Which is,
no, what's that? I don't know that. What's that about?
He's a contract killer or something.
It was in the theater for like a couple weeks, but
it was more than that. It made some money.
But it's already on Netflix now.
Oh, it's got a lot of stars in it. But Brad Pitt's the biggest
killer.
He's a killer, but he's now found Zen, and he's in Japan, and they give him an easy thing: just go on the bullet train, get the suitcase, and get off. Well, of course, it goes awry, but it's really funny.
I didn't know that. I'll be damned. Kind of cool. Now, something about a...
it's like Kill Bill. It's a little bit like Kill Bill. Yeah.
And by the way, that's been played a lot all of a sudden. It's Kill Bill 1 and 2, and I whenever they're on, I always watch parts of them. I can't help it. I mean, there's some... And again, talk about violence. Oh, my God. Jeez. But there,
the blood's...
You can't help... well, it's like... what's the one where the black guy rides a horse and they blow up the building and
what?
The slave and he saves him from slavery and becomes his co-hitman.
I won't watch that shit.
Oh, that's a great
Django.
Unchained. Django Unchained or whatever it is. Anyway, the same director. Now, what's this about? An old show coming back to haunt us?
Oh, God, you gave me like 2 seconds.
And old words are now new again.
Yes, they are, Kimmer. I'm glad you brought that up.
I will do a couple of birthdays while you
I can
find those things.
Well, I can
for
do
example.
it right now.
All right,
okay, go do a
all right,
birthday.
I got like 5 birthdays, so we'll be out of time. Benny Anderson is 76. Benny Anderson is a singer with ABBA. And I love ABBA, which I'm mentioning. And the name ABBA, you know how they got the name ABBA?
It's their names.
They took the first letter of each first name of the group, and it was ABBA, so they call themselves ABBA. Anyway, he is 76. Benjamin Bratt, the actor from the Cop Show and also a whole bunch of other things, including comedies.
You know what killed his career? Catwoman. He
really?
was in there with Halle Berry,
Yeah.
and after that, it was all downhill.
Yeah. Benjamin Bratt is 59.
Wow.
Leslie Stahl is 81
C-word.
years old today. Still working.
C-word.
Good for her.
Still lying.
Yeah. Still disgusting liberal hater. Liv Ullmann, the actress, 84 today. She was a handsome woman, I say. Joyce Bulifant, you know that name?
Yeah. Match Game.
She was one of the many long years stars, a little cute little short-haired blonde. She was on Match Game. She was an airplane. She was the mom in Airplane with the girl with the tubes in her nose or whatever. She played Marie on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Joyce Bulifant is 85 years old. Jyoti Amgi is 29 years old. She is an actress from India and is the world's smallest woman. She played Ma Petite on American Horror Story. She's 2 feet tall.
Gosh, that must have been creepy.
I saw a tease for a TV show where there was a little girl and she was saying, "Hi, my name is Molly and I'm 47 years old," or something. And it was a little girl who stopped growing to be more, it looked like the age of 7.
Wow.
And she's a grown adult.
That's weird.
Oh, it's awful.
You got to think, why did that happen to me? You know?
I mean, and it's not only that she's a dwarf. I mean, that she stopped growing. That she looks like a miniature 7-year-old. Oh, poor thing. And she's, pretty and bright and clear. Anyway. And now,
so pretty.
Did you do the old show or?
Not yet. Okay. First of all, Professor Shmuel C. Shapira, MD, says, "Boomers, I can't believe I wore bell bottoms."
I had bell bottoms.
I love bell bottoms.
I wore them all the time. And leisure suits
No,
made out of double knit material.
Did not like
Everybody
those.
over the age of 50 knows exactly
Did
what
not
I'm
like
talking
those.
about.
You couldn't get near an open flame.
No, double knit material was fireproof. It was all fibers of asbestos, anti-asbestos thing. I don't know.
All right, boomers. I can't believe I wore bell bottoms. Gen X. I can't believe I wore my hair like that. Millennials. I can't believe I was goth and emo. Gen Z. I can't believe I cut my dick off.
Thank you.
On this day in 1938,
Yes.
the Braves of Boston dealt catcher Ray Mueller to the Pirates for Al Todd, who would then get traded to Brooklyn for a man named Johnny. Johnny Dick Shot.
Dick shot?
Dick Shot. Why when you run to the courthouse as soon as you became like 18,
Mom.
you run to the courthouse and change it? Did you see the video in Berlin of the aquarium?
No.
A 1 million gallon aquarium in the middle of a lobby of a hotel, 1,500 fish, blows. And the water goes everywhere and the fish go everywhere.
What happened?
It flooded. It just burst. Too much pressure on the bottom of it.
Oh my
All the water in the bottom of it. The bottom went.
Did you also see that F-15 idling?
Yeah, it did
And
crash.
it crashed, and the guy had to eject.
Oh, he had it down on the ground, and all of a sudden it starts doing this, and then it comes back, and then he ejects. And how many millions is that he just blew?
I mean,
Wow.
That's
And it was one of those like a Harrier.
yeah. It was just
Oh, that's a
hovering.
Marine Corps
It was
plane,
hovering
yeah.
there for like 15, 20 seconds. He started to bring it down, and when he landed, it bounced, or he somehow lost control, and it went like that, and it almost went through the fence onto the road.
Wow.
Yeah.
How could I didn't see these? Where you guys get these videos?
It was
You
Twitter.
should pop
Also,
up
it was
my
on
phone.
Twitter. I'll send it to you.
Instagram,
you.
Facebook.
Gotta go to your
It's the
list.
rabbit holes that
That'll
you go
do
down.
it.
All right.
I have one more birthday. I
Oh,
forgot
go
one.
ahead,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
One more birthday. William Refrigerator Perry. 60 years old. Played for the Bears and the Eagles for 10 years in the NFL.
Today's outro music will be that Bears song on the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's it.
and again, there was never a more fun, exciting, you know what's going to happen moment when Refrigerator Perry lined up as fullback in the backfield from 2 yards out in a goal line drive, and you could see he weighed like 370 or something. He was one biscuit short of 400 pounds. He would tease him, and called him a refrigerator. And when he would go bursting through the line and just bounce those other guys backwards, it was just hysterical. And Mike Ditka, who was the coach of the Chicago Bears at the time, told him when he wanted to do it, and Coach Ditka told him, if you keep your weight under 388 or whatever it was, I'll let you score touchdowns. But if you get heavy, it's over. And that's how he controlled him, because Refrigerator wanted to score those touchdowns, which was hysterical.
But Ditka regrets it to this day. And you know why?
No.
He didn't let Walter Payton score.
That last, and remember, Walter Payton kept it. I think he kept his helmet on and was hanging his head and was angry and upset on the very famous play that he should have been able to score, and he didn't get a chance to. And I think I didn't know that Ditka has finally said that he regretted it.
Well, he wanted Perry to score, but he regrets not giving Payton a chance to.
Yeah.
And
I remember, now you mentioned it, I remember that Walter Payton was other people were crushed, were really hurt that he didn't get the chance to do that.
What's a snow blossom?
A snow blossom. It's got to be a flower that comes through the snowbanks, I'm guessing?
Close. It's a snowflake. It's an archaic word for snowflake.
I'll
a
be
snow
damned.
blossom.
And I guess it's true that not any two snowflakes are alike.
They say.
Now, how are they going to prove that, by the way?
They
There'll be
can't.
trillions and zillions of
AI can do it. They'll do it for you. What's a clinker bell?
Clinker bell.
Bell's cousin.
Close. The clumsy one. Along with Dagler, it's a Hampshire term for an icicle. A clinker bell.
Damn, that's pretty funny.
How about confelicity?
Confelicity.
Confelicity.
So felicity is happiness or love or sweetness, and would be anti-happiness, like misery? Or
The unselfish joy in someone else's pleasure. That's nice.
Oh, well, that's a good thing.
And finally, have you ever been a giggle mug?
Every day.
Victorian slang for a habitually smiling face.
Oh, that's me, all right. That's my. In fact, I think on my pictures in the.
That's you.
Thesaurus.
There's an Indian ink drawing of you in the Funkin' Wagnalls.
I'll give you a funkin' wag.
Bumper Sticker Rick
Okay.
tweets, "Hey guys, if you didn't know, Fistful of Radio is playing your first WTZA show right now. I can't believe it was nearly 3 years ago that y'all came back to radio." And then he goes, Oh, also, and Kimmer, you're telling your friend Tarkinen's story.
Oh, my God. Who's playing our first show?
Fistful of Radio.
Oh, my God.
Someone has it anywhere. Scott in Illinois. Last week, you guys were talking about music playing while being intimate with a woman.
Yeah.
And Kimmer said he hadn't really done that.
I'd never set the stage with music to try to seduce a girl.
All I could think was Kimmer trying it, getting the lighting just right, then firing up Ringo.
He was a man in the West who had a fast gun.
Well, I don't think.
Oh, God, I'm so excited.
You don't want that playing. A fast gun.
He pulled it out and shot him immediately. Huh?
The song's less than 3 minutes. Daryl says, here's something I never thought of, but you'll never think of this the same way again.
All right.
You know what Pavlov's dog is?
Yeah, you ring a bell and you salivate because when you hear a sound, it relates to something you're trained to
He
react
trained
to.
the dog
Right.
to salivate.
When he rang the bell, the dinner bowl would be there. So when the dog heard the bell, he would salivate knowing he was about to get fed.
Do you think that Pavlov thought about feeding his dog every time he heard a bell ring?
Yeah, it worked on him. Absolutely. Obviously it did.
A headline of the day.
Yes.
KFC customer shoots employee after restaurant runs out of corn.
Corn? That's a good reason.
Here's a Christmas one for you.
All right.
From Alfred the Great.
Yeah.
People said and laughed about my life-sized advent calendar with a person behind every door wasn't feasible. But they've been notably silent now that they're trapped in my advent calendar.
That's got to leave a mark. A couple of musical historical notes here, if you don't. In the year 2000, Leanne Rimes was in the middle of a lawsuit against her estranged father for stealing millions of her dollars. He offered some testimony in court in a deposition trying to embarrass her, such as how Leanne Rimes paid her mother about $10,000 every time she styled Leanne's hair before every show. 2003, Michael Jackson was freed on $3 million bail after his arrest for child abuse. The 45-year-old superstar in 2003, Weirdo said, "I would never hurt a child." 2013, Miley Cyrus insured her tongue for $1 million. Yes, one friend said Miley's totally aware of how her tongue is getting more headlines than she is, and it's part of her trademarking image. When she first cut her hair short, she tried to get the new crop patented, wanted it known as the Miley. Another historical notes here today. 1773, colonial patriots were angry that officials in Boston refused to send back 3 ships filled with tea to Britain because they weren't going to pay the taxes on the tea. But a group of colonists went one step further and had a little tea party in the harbor on this day in 73. Taxation without representation. All told, the patriots, who were dressed as Indians, cast 350 chests of tea into the bay. 1944, the Battle of the Bulge began. German forces launched an attack against the Allies at the Ardennes in Belgium. The bloodiest battle of World War II. 19,000 American GIs killed. 1979, remember when I told you what I paid for gas with my first car in 1962? It was 25 cents a gallon. Mm-hmm. Well, in 1979, and again, I was a TV anchorman in that year as well as being on radio, and I remember asking a representative from Shell Oil on my set in the late 70s, and they were talking about the embargoes and gas prices, and I said, now be honest with me if you can. Do you honestly think that we're ever going to have to start paying as much as $1 a gallon? In the 70s, I asked him that. Well, on this day in 1979, because OPEC had raised prices because of the ongoing crisis in Iran, the price of gas went from an average of 63 cents a gallon in 1979 to $1. FYI, the government had actually printed gas rationing coupons in the 70s, like in World War II, fearing rationing and panic buying, but they were never issued. But they printed gas coupons in the 70s. 1916, how many people have heard the name Rasputin, but have no idea who he was?
I do.
I know you know him. You're a historic guy. his story guy, if real. Or I'll bet you.
I'll bet
you 60% of the people who hear the name Rasputin think it's a nursery rhyme or an old wives' tale or a Russian myth, or never heard the name Rasputin. Rasputin had tremendous influence over the Russian royal family in the early 1900s and earlier. This is the day in 1918 or 1916 rather that a group of noblemen led by a prince and a grand duke murdered him.
Yeah, and you know how they took him to dinner, they poisoned him. He didn't die. They stabbed him. They shot him. They put him in a sack and took him to the river. They threw him in the river, a frozen river, and he still was alive. And they basically pulled him out and beat him to death. They couldn't kill him.
They couldn't kill the man.
What a shitty way to go.
Oh, wow.
Well, he was fighting the whole time. he was like my uncle used to call. He was a town Rasputin or a river Rasputin.
Yeah, he was a farm Rasputin. He wasn't going to give up.
We're sitting there one day on the farm in Mississippi, and there's a couple of cats walking by, and he goes, those aren't our cats, are they? And we said, no, those look like town cats. I said, what's a town cat, Uncle Alan? He goes, you put them in a sack and you take them to town.
1985, mafia boss Paul Castellano, head of the Gambino crime family, is gunned down outside Sparks Steakhouse in Manhattan. John Gotti ordered the hit. 1972, the Miami Dolphins became the first NFL team to go unbeaten and untied during the 14-game regular season, and then beat the Redskins in the Super Bowl in 1972. And one more, 1973, serial rapist and double murderer O.J. Simpson broke Jimmy Brown's single-season rushing record of 1,863 yards. The slaughtering butcher O.J. ran for 2,003 yards, also the first time since then. I think there have been 8 or 9 other rushers who gained 2,000 yards a season, but of course now the games are 16 and now 17 games a season. Excuse me.
Cindy points out something we were going to mention earlier and didn't get around to.
Yeah.
They were leaving those little Antifa BSers alone down there in DeKalb County, wherever they are, hiding out down there in the woods.
The Atlanta Police Department property thing they want to get? Yeah.
But they went a bridge too far last week when a man stopped by there to look at something in his pickup truck. They surrounded him and tried to burn him alive in his truck. Well, even that caught the eyes of the local gendarmes that maybe something was amiss.
Finally, they said, maybe we should go down there with,
clue.
I don't know, maybe
so they went down there and
they
found dynamite and explosives. They've arrested them for domestic terrorism.
Yeah. Finally. Made actual arrests. And, again, this has been going on for 2 years, or a year. It's been going on for a very long time.
And there was the autonomous zone in Seattle a few years ago that multiple people were killed.
Well, and they did it in Portland, did it in a couple places.
And we said it would never happen here, and it did.
Well, hell, they did it with the Wendy's. They gave them the Wendy's. They remember when Antifa and Black Lives Matter took over the Wendy's after the Rayshard Brooks shooting, and the mayor, Long Bottom, said, no, let's not go in there. Let's give them an opportunity to protest. We don't want to cause anything. And she let them stay there, and they eventually burned down the Wendy's.
And it's gone now.
Instead of arresting them that minute when their problem was happening, she said, no, let's not start anything. We want to make sure we don't do it. You freaking woke cowards. And what more evidence do you need that we're in the wrong place? And, of course, Georgia votes 2 liberal senators to make sure that they're going to continue doing all this anti-police stuff for another 6 years.
Have you ever heard a senator quieter than John Ossoff?
He's not, yeah.
I haven't heard a joke. Peep. Not a peep from him.
He doesn't have to say anything.
He just sits up there, collects the money.
Just votes Democratic, and he's fine.
He's Scrooge McDuck, rolling around in his money every day.
And once in a while, there'll be a feature story in the paper of how he wants to help low-income people earn college degree. Which is great. Everybody should do that. But it's not like he's, starting a fight to close the border and crack down on this Putin of, please.
Time for Bad Text Theater.
Bad Text Theater, my friends.
Are we doing the woman and the cat again? The woman yelling at the cat meme, which is always good for a laugh.
Yelling at that cat.
You gonna be the woman or you gonna be the cat?
I will be. It is right there. I will be the cat.
All right. I find you very offensive.
Then stop finding me.
That was easy. I didn't figure that out. Oh, brutal. Anyway, boys, weekend time. Any plans or thoughts or anything?
Bowl games already started.
Yeah, bowl games.
That's all I got to say right there. And the Division II championships are going on and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Flounder?
Gonna nurse the little guy this weekend, and me and my dad are gonna do some Christmas shopping.
Excellent.
Christmas.
All right. Well, boys,
it's the last weekend for it.
and it's gonna be cold, just like winter, and just like Christmas. Next week, snow.
Next
They're
week it's
saying
gonna
maybe
be-
snow
Okay,
for
every time
Christmas
you
Eve.
jinx it. You're the worst weatherman in the history
No, if
of
I say
Atlanta
it,
weather.
if I say it, it won't happen.
I know.
that's
well,
what I
I
want.
wanted to have. We want a white Christmas. We're not going anywhere.
I
am.
Sit at home and watch the snow.
Au contraire, when I was the TV weatherman at Channel 5 on doing weekend weather, 1990 or 88 or whatever it was, 91 maybe, I was the only weather forecaster to predict a white Christmas the week before Christmas, and I was right.
Well, it wasn't
It
a white
snowed.
Christmas if it was a week before Christmas.
I predicted it for Christmas, and it's like I'm predicting snow for Christmas a week early this time, Mr. Smart.
But it never happens when they predict it.
It happened when I did it. I'm the special predictor. My point is, I did it once and it worked. I'm doing it again and it'll work. So
holding you to
mark
that.
my words, Christmas for the Christmas weekend there will be snow in the Atlanta area. Any other final thoughts, you bastard?
You know what you ought to do this weekend if you're not doing anything?
Yes.
Drive up to Dahlonega. It's not far from where you live.
Yeah, I can do
And
that.
just walk around and look at the
Yeah.
lights and
Yeah,
stuff.
I know.
It probably was very pretty this weekend.
Yeah,
Or Helen.
yeah.
Dahlonaga's easy for you.
to go
Dahlonaga's right at 400.
I used to go to Dahlonega and Helen and the NASCAR territory, the stock car places up there on Dawsonville. And,
That's nice.
Yeah, every weekend,
LJ.
somewhere up in that area, I was up in that area. Blue
Get some
Ridge,
apple,
LJ, yeah.
Get some boiled peanuts and apples.
LJ's gorgeous. I
It
mean,
is.
all that country. Anyway, boys. That's what I say. Hoorah, Semper Fi, I gotta go. You're killing me. Have a great weekend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless America. Hoorah, herp and herp. Ooh, look at